Stay focused, stay fixed here. Let me show you, dive into it, show you how to fix this. So this is my network. As you can see, I developed this network using this proposal, this one. In my previous lab, you can go and check about it. This is it. In this network, everything is working. Let me just start by confirming. Let me ping. As I hover, you can still check. This one is getting IP address from exact VLAN, VLAN 30. This is VLAN 20. You see, it is getting 192.168.20.91 exactly from VLAN 20. This is .10.103 exactly from VLAN 10. This is office department, warehouse department, security department, customer care department. This is the core router here, interlinking the branch and the headquarter. This is the data center stationed at the head office, as you can see. Let's dive. This network is working. Let's ping from this section to this. So this computer is having an IP 192.168.30.92. Then this is 40.102. Let's ping. .92. You see, it is working. It's working. Let us ping the DHCP server. DHCP server, it is 172.16.10.5. It is working, as you can see. Let's ping the email server. It is 25.10. It's working. So I'm going to tamper with this network so that we can know how we can go about it, fixing in your network when DHCP server is not working, email server is not working, FTP server is not either working, DNS server is not working. So let's start with DHCP. This is it. Let's close this. As you can see, how to troubleshoot DHCP, email, FTP in a complex network. This is designed for CCNA, CCNP, learners, and technical content creators. In them being the network engineers who are struggling with issues in real environment on sites. You can still get help from this channel. As you can see, the goal of this lab is to demonstrate real world DHCP, email, FTP, and DNS troubleshooting skills in complex networks. So I'm going step by step troubleshooting every service. So I will start with the DHCP. This is the topology. This is how the topology of the network, and this is it. So let me start with the DHCP. Ever struggle with the DHCP in your network? What might be the issues that might cause the DHCP server or service not to work? One, it might be that your computer is off. When this computer is off, let's check. Let's start. This is computer in the warehouse department. It is on fast Ethernet 05. So we will come on the switch, then the password is Cisco, configure terminal, then interface, fast Ethernet 05, shut down. The moment we shut down that interface, then let's check and try if at all we can get the IP. You see, initially it got 192.168.20.100, but the moment I have shut down this interface, this computer, its interface, that's the switch port is off. So I return it to static, then try to get a DHCP. It sends the packet in the entire network seeking where the server is, but it's not getting, so it goes on to self-assign an address called APIPA, that is address protocol address APIPA address. It starts with 169. Let's just check. When the client computer fails to get an IP address automatic from the server, it automatically assigns itself with an IP called APIPA, Automatic Private Internet Protocol Address. That address, even though it's an address, it does not help it to communicate because it does not come with a default gateway. There is no default gateway with that. So let's save and check again. So when you shut, when the interface, when the DHCP is not working on your network, first of all, start by checking whether the computer is up and running or it's off. Second, check the interface. Is it in which state it is? Is it off? Is it shut down or it's up? So in this case, the interface is shut. It means that this computer cannot communicate with the switch, and it is the switch that is linking to the router further to the data center here. So that's one of the issues. As you can see, the interface can be off. These are common DHCP issues. Missing or incorrect IP helper address. This comes in whereby you are using a DHCP relay agent, and whereby that particular IP helper address is misconfigured. Let me show you how we can do that. For example, this is VLAN 20. Let me reboot this switch. To reboot the switch, you just write, let me first save, write memory, then reload. You see, it is rebooting. This is just as restarting, so but ensure you've saved the running configuration file to startup configuration file, or else you shall lose your configs. Cisco. So let's come here and check this. You see it has gotten which IP? 169.254.62.12/16, right? But this IP, when you check this, there is no default gateway. Sometimes you might be asked, why is it that it has an IP and it can't communicate? There is no default gateway. It has now, the default gateway gives it potential to communicate with remote networks. Remote networks here, I mean, giving it a capability to reach the headquarters data center. So it's not reaching there because the default gateway is not configured. Even the DNS. That is one way. The issue that you can face in real environment. Maybe the interface from the switch is shut, that switch port. Second, the IP helper address is misconfigured. So let me unshut this interface. The shortcut to do that, we just come, let me repeat, just click on the switch this way. You come on the config, then these are the switch ports. You click on switch port number 5, then you just turn it on. Then when you want to save but you are not in the privilege mode, you use the word do, then write memory. Do means you are forcing it. You see, it has saved. But when you are in privilege mode, like where I am right now, just write memory or WR, still it works. So the moment I do that and I save this, I expect this computer to get an IP address. Now it should be able to get, you see now it has gotten the right address from the DHCP server. You see that issue? So this is one of the issue that maybe you might be facing. Two, the IP helper address is misconfigured or is not there, or it has, maybe it overlaps with a different subnet. So this router, this is inter-VLAN routing. I created VLANs here, as we can show, you can see, show VLANs. You see we've got VLAN 10, VLAN 20, 30, and 40. So that is it. Above here we've got VLAN 10. These are the name of the VLAN. These are the switch ports under that VLAN. Then VLAN 20 store, or that's the warehouse. These are the ports under that up to VLAN 40. So that is what I did. Then these are just steps if you missed. This port that is connecting the switch, that is linking the switch to the router, this port gig 0/1. This port I configured it as trunk port. To configure it trunk port, you can check in the running configuration. This is how to configure a port to be trunk. Interface gigabit 0/ the port ID. Then I gave it description to be the trunk port. Then switch port, access VLAN 10. Before you reach switch port access VLAN 10, you specify the mode onto which the port is going to function, whether access port or trunk port. Access port is the normal port for accessing the service, but trunk port is specifically meant to allow multiple VLANs to communicate. So after specifying the mode under which this port is going, the mode under which the port is going to work, whether trunk, then you specify the VLANs that shall be allowed through that port. That's how I have configured it there. So that this port gives the ability, this VLAN 10 to 40, to communicate with each other. So from there, this router, I created some virtual interface on this router. Enable, the password is Cisco, show running configuration, that's to check what you configured. As you can see, interface 0/0, it is the interface connected to the data center here. Then when you come to 0/2, this is the interface connected to the branch network. Note it here. That interface by default, it is not configured with any IP address. Reason being, that is the main interface that we are going to virtualize. So you use what we call inter-VLAN routing, or the concept of 802.1q, the IEEE standard, to create sub-virtual interfaces. So as you can see, this IP, this is the common mistake that you can encounter with the DHCP service on the network. IP helper address. This means that this is the address that is having the pool. This is the computer that is having the pools meant for this VLANs. So this command helps the broadcast packets to be accessed by the router for interpretation, so that it can be channeled as unicast to the DHCP server. So if I configure this wrongly, for example, here I give maybe a number that does not exist, maybe like 8. This particular department, there is no department that you will get. For example, if it is on LAN 10 like this one, LAN 10 won't access. Let's check. Interface gig 0/2.10. No IP. Let me just remove it and see. Helper 172.16.10.5. I have removed that. Then let me save to write. Then let's check if that VLAN 10 will receive IP address automatic. Currently, as per now, it has, but let's check. Bring it started, then we refresh. You see, it is taking time. It is taking time. It has refused to get the IP address from the server. So I have interfered with the DHCP relay agent, which is that virtual interface. As you can see, it has gotten once the APIPA. Up here, DHCP failed, then APIPA is being used. You see, this is how you can troubleshoot it. Check the interfaces, check whether if it is being served by a central DHCP server. Check whether the DHCP relay agent or IP helper address is well configured. So you see, now VLAN 10 is unable to get IP address from the server. Reason being, the DHCP relay is, you see, it's not getting. With the time it gets APIPA, but the moment I just change, let me repeat and correct the error. Interface gig 0/2.10, then IP helper address, that is the address of the DHCP server 10.5, and then write memory. The moment I save that, things change. Let's hover on this computer. Still it is getting APIPA. So we initialize the DHCP server. We make it DHCP client. You see, it has gotten successful. DHCP request successful. So these are the techniques that you can use to troubleshoot DHCP service if it has failed in an enterprise network or in a complex network, whereby you are using a central DHCP server to serve multiple regions or branches or departments. This is how you go step by step. So next step, as you can see, VLAN mismatch between access ports and SVI. SVI is a switched virtual interfaces. So this is what I am calling the sub-virtual interfaces that I created on the main router. You see, the main interface was not configured with the IP address, but I created some virtual interface. So VLAN mismatch, for example, this is what I mean by saying so. For example, here, this is department is under VLAN 10. Then you come and configure VLAN 10 to be 20, 10 to be 30, 40 to be 20. You see, that mismatch, it will, even though the pools are well configured on the server, the clients cannot get IP address because the VLANs are mismatched. Like when the packet gets, when the packets move seeking where to get the server on the network, it is difficult to know which specific subnet is that client related to. So you see, you must ensure that the VLANs are well configured, like this section, it's VLAN 10. Also, naming is one way of troubleshooting in network. Naming, you must label your network in a manner that it is easy to troubleshoot. If this port is connected to the office, give it a tag that relates to that department, so that in case you've got downtime in that office or in that related department, it is easy to know how many ports have you slashed from the switch to that department. So that is it. VLAN mismatch. That is issue number 3 that might cause the DHCP server not to function. Issue number issue number 3, that is DHCP pool with wrong network or subnet mask. Now let me show you. This is my DHCP server located at the head office. Then they have said that DHCP, I have written there that DHCP pool mismatch or wrong subnet mask. So as you can see, this address is /24. It means that its subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. So in the case of writing it 255.255.255.0, I write 255.255.0.0. All this, it won't get the IP address automatic because the subnet mask is wrong. Subnet is the function of the subnet mask is to identify the network part. So if the network is not well identified, the IP address won't be assigned to that particular machine. So let's try. Let me play with the VLAN 10 still. So these are the pools that are created on this server. Remember, servers always must have the static IP address. So VLAN 10, then let me just check something. So this is the subnet mask, then this is, maybe I give it 128. Then I save. The moment I save, you see, just a minute, you see it is now having 128 here. So it is having 128. Let me just check. Let me just check if it can get IP address. Let me check. You see, I have changed that subnet mask to be 128. Even though it has gotten this IP address, this is wrong. This is not it. As per the subnetting, it's wrong. So let me do another mistake, then correct. Change this to what we were, then this one to maybe 12. The default gateway now, it was 10.1, then I give it 12.1, which does not exist. Eventually it will interfere with the whole pool. That is it. So when you come here and try to get something, just a minute, try to get something like this one. I didn't save, so it is this way. Another thing, if the DHCP server is off, so let me turn this off for VLAN 10. You see it was on, but now it's off. Then let me save, return it to where it was, then save, but it is off. Then check. You see, the DHCP has failed by automatically assigning itself with the PIPA. So the server is off. So imagine the client calls you that is not connected on the internet. You as a network engineer, you know, on your network you've conditioned the server to award IP addresses to clients. So what might be the issue? This might be one of the issues. Maybe we've got power outage or power issue at the data center if need be. Some organizations do not utilize clean power, so we might have that power issue. So first of all, check from the client side. First of all, verify is it only one affected or all of them or the entire organization. Then stepwise, then approach it. So here is one of the problem. The server is off, as you can see. This one I had already talked about the issues with gateway, missing or incorrect IP helper address, LAN mismatch, DHCP pool with wrong network or subnet. I had already talked about. So let me bring up this server. You see, let me put it on, then save. I must get the IP address now. So when I change to this, you see it is successful. I have gotten the IP address automatic because the interface is up. You see, all these conditions must be met for DHCP server to work. The interface is up, the subnet mask and the IP address on the service well configured. The pool is available and it has IP address able to be available for list. So the last section that might lead to DHCP failure is there is no IP address in the pool. Maybe the pool has been exhausted. If you've got 10 clients and you've got 10 usable IP address on the server, then it happens that the clients are 15. So the first 10 shall be served, but the last 5 shall not, because there is no any other address that it can be assigned. So let's do this. This is 100. I commanded it to start from 100 because this is in total, it has 256. So I want it to so when I give it 254, there is only 2 IP addresses, and these 2 IP addresses, it is indicated 2, but these 2 are not usable. I mean, one is the network ID for that particular subnet, that is 192.168.10.0. That is another one is 192.168.10.255. That is the broadcast. So the broadcast is not assigned. It's not usable. It's an IP address, yes, but it's not usable IP address. So I expect here the pool is exhausted, is depleted. So when I check on this and renew the IP address, it should, you see it has gotten 254. But remember, my pool has just 2 IP addresses, so it will start with 254. Let me check this. You see, this one is struggling. The first computer received 254. Okay, but the next computer, this one, P13, I think, it has failed. Reason being, the pool has been exhausted. As you have seen, the server here, I just gave it, you see, 2 IP address. So the first one is this, then the last usable IP is 254. Then the next one, 255, is not assigned on a machine. That's why it has failed. When I put here 253, that the 2 computers are going to get IP address. You see, when I save, it means 253 is going to be assigned, then 2 with the 254, but 255 is not gonna be assigned. So when I check this one, repeat, you see it has gotten 253. Then this one, gonna go to the next 254, you see, but the third one is gonna fail because all the IP address in the pool have been used. You see, it is struggling. You see, that's how we solve DHCP issues in the complex network. So you need to understand how it works first and where might be the issue. The way you've laid your network. So let me return it to normal. I'll just start with maybe 95. Let me give it 95 allowance because we've got principles of network. Network always grows. There is what we call growth and scalability. The network, it grows and expands. People keep on joining the network. We've got the aspect of fault tolerance, in that when it fails, it should take the shortest time to be back. When your network collapses, it should take you the shortest time or the shortest hours to bring it back to life. We've got security, the aspect of availability, reliability. You can check on that. Those are the principles on which the network is built. You cannot just build a network then that you won't maintain. So let me return my these computers to the normal and see. I have commanded the server to start issuing from 96. You see, it has gotten 96, so there is enough IP address to serve these three computers and the future that shall come. The future computers or the future users that will join the network. This has gotten 90. Let me just check. That is 95. Then this one is pretending not to get. So that is it. I have talked about the aspect of interface being shut. Maybe the machine, the client computer is off. When it's off, it does not get IP address automatic. The aspect of a mismatch in VLAN configuration. The aspect of wrong IP help address or DHCP relay agent misconfiguration. Then the DHCP server either off or on, but being on the aspect of being on, the pool is exhausted, it has limited number of IP addresses, or the gateway is wrongly configured. Those are the issues that you can encounter as a network engineer or a student preparing for CCNA or CCNP, even in simulation or in relay environment. So those are the issues that you should guard from simulation to relay environment. So let's move to the next. So these are the steps that I have been explaining. If physical I mean the computer is off, the client is totally off, or the interface might be off or misconfigured. You see, we've got speed, we've got our auto mode, full duplex and a half duplex. So on the aspect of speed, for example, if a link is suitable to operate in gigabit Ethernet, in gigs, that's 1000 megabits MBs per second, and you give it 10 Mbps, we will have issues, and that one might also impact the service because that's the channel that is leading to the access of services or that is helping you to access the service. So these are the ways you shall verify whether that the status of the interface, and this is why you should always describe your interfaces. You see, VLAN and trunking issues. For example, if I configure the trunk port wrongly, there is no client in any of the VLAN that will get the IP address. There is no one, because the trunk is the only channel that will help that particular packet to go to the switch to move from the switch to the router, so that the router can decide through DHCP relay agent. So these are the steps. You see the aspect of DHCP relay agent. In a complex network, routing, maybe the route, you've used static routes with dynamic routes, so they are conflicting. So that one might also impact. You should check the route. That is it. We move to the email. Email servers. These are computers configured specifically to handle how we receive, send, and download or receive emails, either from the sender or recipient, those things. So on emails, we've got protocols that manage communication, the likes of SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, that is responsible for sending and receiving the email. We've got the POP3, the Post Office Protocol version 3, that is responsible for downloading. It's like retrieving the email from the email server to your client application. So issues that surround about email in a network, it might be one, the protocol is misconfigured. For example, SMTP is not well configured, or it's not enabled. It will impact issues to do the emails in that organization. Two, the domain name is wrong. For example, like assume netlabshub.com is a domain. This organization, Netlabs Hub, we use netlabshub.com as our domain. So, for example, admin@netlabshub.com, customer care at netlabshub.com. When the admin sends an email to customer care and he quotes the email for customer care with the wrong domain, for example, netlabshub.com. In the case of quoting netlabshub.com, he quotes it that netlab hub without S. Automatically that email shall not be sent because the domain is wrong. So those are the issues also. You should also consider the domain issues. Also, the domain can also be misconfigured on the server. Let's do that. First of all, let me test whether my emails, people can send emails to each other. Collins is here. There is this person called Kevin in the warehouse department. There is this person called admin. Then there is James in the security department. So I want James to tell admin that he will come late, maybe he's in the security department, so he'll report on job late. So let's compose the email. Admin at the person sending netlabshub.com, then subject maybe apologies. Dear admin, please note, due to traffic jam, will play 20 minutes. To report. Paste the records. James Mine. So this is the email that James has written to admin requesting that he might report. He will just report on duty but late, 20 minutes due to traffic jam. So when we send this email, you check statistics here. Send success. Send mail to this person with the subject apologies. The mail server this is the IP address of the mail server. Our mail server is this 172.16.10.25. So that is it. It is James who has sent the email. This is it. So the admin can just open the email client from his side and then check, oh, James gonna be late today. So this is it. This is the previous email that Collins had sent to the admin. So just come, then receive. Receive is like you are opening the inbox. Replies, it's like you are responding back. Compose, you are writing a new email. So you see James has written here, apologies. It is on Friday, January 30th, 2026. This one. So this is it. You see the email. So this is how it works. If you want to get to know how to configure email server in Cisco Packet Tracer, please follow my previous video lab number 5. So that is it. I want to temper with this so that we can know how to troubleshoot this email. There are two aspects. The aspect of protocols, email protocols like SMTP and POP3, then the aspect of domain name. So let me just change something here. You come on email, these are services. When this you come on email here, I'm sorry, I'm connecting to DHCP. So this is the email. You see, these are the users. For them to communicate effectively, they must be created, the credentials must be appended on the server. So the username and the password must be created. After there, the email client must also be configured mirroring what has been put on the server. So you find that this is the credentials for admin. Admin is the username, password is 123. Then you add. We can remove. Let me remove admin in the server. That is it. I have removed admin. So let admin now respond to James. It will be difficult for that email to go. Maybe we fired admin, so administrator is fired. So he presents send communicating to James where the email awarded. So maybe Collins, let me let him try to even just thank you. Just sending a thank you. When we send, you see SMTP response error. Because simple mail transfer protocol must synchronize what is in the client section or client side and what has been configured on the server side. If it finds some issues, it cannot help to skyrocket that, to transfer that email from the client to the server, from the sender to the receiver. So in this case, admin has been deleted on the server. There is no way the protocol is trying to reach to verify this admin. He has this email. Let me check on the server. Is the domain right? No. Is this person, his username is there? No. Is the password right? No. So it pops out this error. So you might find this error in real network environment whereby you are called to solve this. So that's how you go about it. As you can see now, let me repeat. Let me turn him back. Admin, then password 123. I just deleted him. So you press the positive sign, then you've added him. So the moment you add him, then come back on him, this one, then now reply. You see it is sent success because SMTP has verified that what is on the client side, it is also okay on the server side, and the network is working, meaning the client is reachable, is reaching the server. That is it. That's how we troubleshoot an email server. If not well understood, I'm available. Please, my contacts are below the link below, so you can just ping, just contact. So next, on the email, first let's finish on the email. The last aspect is that the email might be off. To be off, for example, here you see this is the SMTP service, this is the POP3 service that I was talking. So the email might be off. When it's off that way, then try to maybe who is Kevin? Kevin communicates with Collins. Let's see what is the error. Compose to Collins at netlabshub.com. Greetings. Let's just send that. You see, it is trying to locate, but the client is not reaching the server. So you see, connection timeout. So this is happens whereby you send an email, then it remains in your inbox. It is in your outbox. Yet you are connected on the network from your side, but so the server might be having issues. So that is it. But the moment I turn on the server, this is the server, just turn it on, then save, then come back to Kevin. This is the email, then try to send. You see, send success. The server is reachable. So that's how we troubleshoot email. So let's move a bit faster. Then FTP. FTP is Infolist File Transfer Protocol. You see, when that protocol or that particular service has been configured on a computer, the computer turns out to be the FTP server, so, or the file server that is. So it's responsible for storing files for users to access centrally. So the FTP server It's back to guide. You see FTP server. These are the issues with the FTP server. You might you might be you may be unable to reach the FTP server on the network. If the FTP server is off, 2, you as a user, FTP server user, you've got limited permissions. For example, you want to write a file that you have no permission to. You want to read a file that you've not been granted permissions to. You want to delete or rename a file that you do not have rights. So, as you access resources within an organization, these resources are centralized either in FTP server or maybe in Active Directory Service, ADDS. So these are resources centralized for the common use, for issues sharing among the staffs. So, and these resources have been given permissions on access. Users have been given permissions, and permissions depend either on position or the role. Those are mostly, or the role, the position you hold or the role you play, or the department. That is it. So, limited permissions. I'm going to show you a user who once had a full permissions. He was able to do all those to get all the functionalities on those files, like writing, reading, deleting, renaming, and listing. And now maybe he has been demoted from a higher rank to somewhere there, junior staff somewhere, due to maybe some reasons. So these permissions for the user are not left that way. They are also they are also customized to his level. Maybe in an organization you are not allowed maybe to access financial records. It's the only accountant who has been given the permission. So they just go to the server, they give those permissions accountant only. You as a staff, you are just able to read what maybe has been sent to you, period. So 2, credentials not created on the server. Maybe you are trying to access the server yet your details are not yet there. Your username, you've not been given a username or the password, or you've forgotten any. 2, latency. Maybe you are having issues with the connectivity. Generally, the network is down. You see, maybe you are using the Wi-Fi. We've got that intermittency, regularity. We've got that irregular. The link is not that regular. So these are the issues that might cause, or the wrong IP address for the server. So let me start by checking this. Start with the limited. I show you how we can do FTP. We can configure users on FTP. So these are the service. You click on the server, then FTP. So these are the rights: write, read, delete, rename, list. I created here users. By default, we've got a username Cisco, then password Cisco, but I customize it to admin, then password 123. Admin has the right to read, write, delete, rename, and list. Collins as a user has just the right to read and list. When Collins tries to maybe do what, delete a file from the server, it cannot be done. It cannot be achieved. A pop-up will show up that you do not have that privilege or permission denied. Same applies to James. James can read, write and read, has no permission to list or nor rename the file. Kevin can also read, rename and list. So let me start with this person. Let me remove write, then save. Let me start with admin. The password is 123. So you can, because the network is communicating, these four departments are communicating with each other, we can use any computer here. Let me start with the admin, then access FTP server. You see FTP server is on 170.16.10.20. We access FTP use on the command prompt, you type FTP, then the IP address of FTP. You see, trying to connect to that, connected. So the moment you connect, it requests a username. That is what we call authentication. So you must be authenticated vis-a-vis what is on the server. So username ni admin, it's admin. Then the moment you put the right username, they give you a code 331. That username is okay, but up here 220 is a welcome message to the FTP server. You see, these codes you need to know them. When the file is not found, which code is popped up, pops up, so you need to get to know. The moment you put the right password, it gives you another code to that. It means that you've logged in successful. So here, that is where you can carry operations depending on the permissions awarded. So space, then question mark. The moment you put question mark, these are the things you can do. We've got CD, it means change directory. Delete, you can delete, then the name of the file, it will delete if you've got that such rights. dir, that is the directory, it is the same as ls in Linux, listing directories. So get is like reading the file, get then the file name, you will see the contents. So we've got help, if that you want to maybe help, you want to understand more about that. Quit, you want to quit this. When you put here you quit, it returns you back to CMD. Rename, you put the name, then the file name you want to rename, then the new naming. That is it. So for example, admin, in the server he has all the rights. So let's try and list the files that are on the server. You see, the moment we use dir, these are the servers, these are the files that are on the server. And let's confirm if it is true. You see, these are these. The first server is ASA, Adaptive Security Appliance 840-K8.ping. This is the first file. You see, these are the files. So that is it. But let me deny him the listing capability. So he can't list the files. Then try. So you see, it is saying permission denied 550. So admin has no rights now of listing. So this is how FTP server works. Sometimes a user complains that he cannot get a certain file. Maybe the rights are changed. The permissions have been changed. So this is how you go about it, troubleshooting it. You see, when I give him the listing capabilities, he will be able to list all the files. So that is it. So for example, let me write a file here, a text file, then upload it to the server. Then we will go to the server and see if that file is there. We'll come to the text editor, then the file name, will give it a name, maybe we'll give it a name like let's give it a unique name like VPN. The moment you save VPN, this file shall be in a text format. VPN, same IPsec VPN, client VPN. These are types of VPN. Just that way. Then save. To save the file, you can click on file, then save. So VPN. So the moment I have created that file, then I want to upload that file to the server. So you will come, quit. You see, the moment you quit, it gives you 221. These codes, we had 200, 220, 230, 231, 550. We need to get to another. So FTP, we can use the up arrow to return to the previous command like that one. FTP, then the IP address of the server. Admin, then 123. Then after here, we write put. We want to upload that file, space vpn.txt. That is, it means text. The moment we upload, if you see it is true, it has successfully transferred that file from this computer up to the server here. You see file transferred in progress, transfer complete, 17 bytes. That file is 17 bytes. Copy it. This is the time it took to copy that file. Now let's go and check this file if it exists on this server. VPN. You see, this is the VPN. If we want to open this file, then this is how we go about it. We go to desktop, then text editor, then open. Just a minute. So this is the file that we've created. We can remove it. Now let's deny admin the rights to write a file into the server. Then try again. Just repeat the previous command, put, because you see, directory or permission denied, requested action not taken. So that is it. That's how we can troubleshoot the FTP server on the enterprise network. So the remaining part, we've done DHCP, we've done email server, we've done FTP server, now the DNS. DNS, this is domain name system. Domain name system is used to map a specific domain name to an IP address. So in normal languages, we human beings, we use names to communicate or to communicate generally, but computers use numbers to communicate. So, and those numbers, part of it is IP addresses. So a name is mapped to an IP address. When you write something like netlabshub.com on these computers here, it will give you the IP address of this particular DNS. It means on the network, that name has been given an identifier, and that identifier is the IP address. So let's try. First of all, let's try and ping if it is reachable. That is 10.15. Ping packet internet grover, sorry, 172.16.10.15. You see, it has successfully complied. That send 4 packets, received 3. The first time out is just due to the synchronization issues and the distance the packet has to go. So you see, next, because that particular it has sync, so that is it. Computer can coordinate, can talk to or can ping the DNS server. So what we do, we write ns lookup, then netlabs hub.com, I think. So the moment we write ns lookup, then domain name, it gives us the IP address of that server. You see, then it says non-authoritative answer. This is it. It means this has been mapped to this. So you remember the name, but when you communicate to it, you want to access some services to it, you connect to that computer. So that is it. When we tamper with that domain name, for example, let me write netlabs hub without .com. Let's check. You see, unknown. It can't find that. So these are the issues that you might encounter on the network. There is no specific address assigned to that on this network. On this network, it only knows this one. And this has been done on the server, as you can see. On the server DNS, this is it. You see, netlabshub.com. You see, this is the IP, then this is the A record. A record is like just a record that is used to map, to keep the address of the domain name vis-a-vis the IP. And that is it, and the server should be on always. So if it's off, still you will have issues. So that's all with this. If you ever feel, if you've been helped in any way, feel free to keep watching, keep following every day new things. Thank you.